Excited to do it.
So we're here with the immortal Matt Brown. Matt, how excited are you to be fighting here in Toronto this week?
Excited to be fighting anywhere, anytime. So this week, you'd say it's just another week, but happened to be, I think it's going to be a glorious week.
And you're going up against a former friend and former training partners of yours.
Not a friend.
Not a friend?
No, never been a friend, no.
So, but you guys trained together at one point. You know each other's style quite well, right?
No, I've trained with him one, maybe 2 times. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What fight do you like better, this one or the original matchup against Safadine at the end of the month that was supposed to be?
Fight's a fight, man. I like being in there with another guy on the other side of me, so that's what makes me happy.
Matt, can you just tell us a bit about working with Dwayne, how this relationship came together, and just the chemistry the two of you have had in this camp?
Yeah, Dwayne's great, man. You know, me and him, we always said, man, you know, I respect coaches that fight, you know, and that's a big pet peeve of mine, you know, and he's been there with the best, and he's obviously one of the best at what he does, and, you know, he brings a lot of things to my game that I wasn't really implementing and never was really taught to implement, so, you know, more MMA style and not, I think maybe I get a little carried away with like doing more traditional pure Muay Thai, and he's bringing more of an MMA striking element to it and adding a lot to my game.
How much does it help having the coaching staff you do that has worked with Cerrone before? Do you feel like that gives you an advantage heading into this fight?
No, I don't think it makes a difference. I mean, you know, a lot of people, maybe some people might have a mental advantage in that aspect or whatever, but, you know, there ain't no secrets in his game, and there ain't no secrets in what Cerrone does, and there ain't no secrets in what I do. So we'll go in there and go to battle either way. So, you know, once that bell rings, it's the same shit.
But you've had issues with a coach in Brazil when you actually got into an altercation with a coach.
Yeah.
How hard is it to find the right staff and the right people to be on your team?
Extremely hard, and you know, now I feel like, you know, over the years, man, I've been through a lot of coaches and dealt with a lot of scumbags and a lot of, you know, crappy people, and I'm confident now, man. I got a good system and good coaches, and now it's just a matter of time, you know, putting it all together, and the longer we're together, the better it's going to be.
Considering how the past few fights have gone, is there more pressure on yourself to, you know, can't have another loss in the streak, or is it if you got to win, you're right back to where you were before a couple fights ago? It's
easy to look at, you know, the past and be like, man, I have to win this fight or whatever, but you know what, honestly, I ain't even looking at it like that, man. You know, I'm enjoying this ride. I'm here. I'm having fun. Like, you know, even talking to all you guys, man, like who thought I would be here, you know what I mean? So I'm happy as shit, and I'm going to go in there and give it everything I got and put a beating on this guy.
You have a huge opportunity here because, you know, Cerrone's on a big winning streak right now. If you get a win here, people are going to forget about that, and, you know, that's a big win for you. You're kind of looking at it that way.
Yeah, so you could look at it that way, but, you know, for me, you know, I ain't never fought before, and I ain't fighting again after. You know, this is the only fight in the world that matters, and, you know, December 11th, we'll figure out where we go from there. But right now, man, I got 110% focus on Saturday night and just putting a beating on this guy.
Do you put any like extra thought into? Have you seen like the photos of his eye and stuff? What's going on there? Like, is that a target to you, or what do you make of that whole thing?
It's irrelevant to me. I mean, yeah, some people call me, tell me, you know, he's got a bad eye. I mean, whatever. I'm gonna punch him in his eye, whether it's bad or good. You know, so I'll make it worse, but you know, it's pretty much irrelevant.
Who are some of your main training partners out in Colorado that you've been working with ahead of this matchup?
Brandon Thatch was probably one of my main sparring partners. I mean, you know, always training partners is always a lot of guys nobody ever heard of, right? So, you know, in terms of guys that you heard of, I mean, like Neil's got his own fight coming up, Neil Magny, you know, with Hendricks. So, you know, we're kind of going up against different styles. So, we always train together, but we didn't get a whole lot of work in. Drew Dober's fighting tomorrow, Saturday. So me and him, you know, we put in some work together and, you know, talk about how we're doing things and work together a lot. But I say, you know, for sparring, like Brandon Thatch is probably one of the most helpful guys, man. He's so good, you know, man, such a talent. And I mean, you know, GSP had him out for his camps before. I mean, you know, he's such a talent. And
a tall, lanky guy too, kind of like Cerrone.
Yeah,
Does that help us, you know, as far as him mimicking Cerrone?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really good at mimicking other guys, man. He's such a talent. I mean, you know, I can't say enough good things about him. I think, you know, if he gets his head together and puts in the right work, he's going to be right up at the top with all of us.
Your thoughts on the main event for this card? Who do you think leaves with that interim title, Pettis or Holloway?
Yeah, I don't really have a pick, man. I like both the guys, and I don't want to see a winner or loser in that fight. To be honest, I like both of them too much.
So you've been on the road so far this year. How do the Toronto fans stack up to the Brazilian fans?
Well, so far it's way better.
So far, so good.
But I tell you what, man, I like going to Brazil, and I like feeling that. That's the first time I've ever been booed in my life. That's the first time I ever, been treated that way in my life. So, to be honest, man, it fired me up, made me feel good, and it was kind of motivating, really. Still, Damian Maia was still too good for me that night, but I was perfectly cool with it, and it's a memorable experience.
Happy to be fighting in Canada. 35 career fights, first fight in Canada. It's about time, I heard.
Yeah, actually, first time. Yeah, first time in Canada.
Yeah, well, I know you've been there. I know you were at 115. I think way back.
In Vancouver. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Toronto, too biggest city in Canada. I mean, it must be pretty exciting.
Well, the only other time I was in Canada, I went to jail. So I was I was lucky they even let me over.
Tell us that story, please.
It's kind of a long story, but I think it's a pretty cool story, though. I think it was me and my wife were getting married in Vermont, so we were driving from Ohio to Vermont. We stopped by Niagara Falls, put GPS in Niagara Falls in GPS. Get to the border, you can't turn back around because we didn't even have our passports. We weren't trying to go to Canada. Get to the border, we can't get turned around. But we get there and asked if we had any guns. I said no, and they searched the car. I had 2 guns because I'm going to Vermont. With the hillbillies up there. So we're gonna go shooting. Traveling across the country. Try to protect my family and everything, et cetera, et cetera. I got charged with lying to customs, international smuggling of firearms. So I went to jail for a few days and then got out and got married the next day. I got out of jail. I didn't really get to tell the story much, but now it's an absolute discharge. Everything's completely washed. I don't have it on my record anymore. But I was questioning whether they would let me come here or not. But they let me in, and there's no problem now. But it's a pretty cool story, and there's a lot more to it than just that. But I gotta sum it up as quick as I can.
That's a true shotgun wedding.
Yeah,
right.
Now you know you can trust your wife because she married you after that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I like to tell her I went from one jail to another. Don't print that.
You were quick to say that you and Donald aren't friends. He said he tried to say hi to you yesterday, and you gave him the cold shoulder. Is there anything more to that? Do you not like him?
Well, I didn't see him yesterday, so. But I will give him a cold shoulder. I've talked to him before. That doesn't make him a friend. So I don't care for him. I don't care for his personality. Even when I talked to him, I didn't really want to talk to him, but I was just being cordial. So, yeah, I don't have any good feelings towards him at all. I don't like the way he acts. I don't like the way he carries himself, and I don't like the way he represents the sport.
Is there any example of that? Like anything in particular that you don't like?
His personality. You can see, the way he talks. Like, I think he wants to be an alpha male, and he really wants to portray as he's, something special. And, I think it's all these yes men he's got around him. I think he's just being lied to by them, telling, oh, Donald, you're the champion, man. You're so good, and you're so great. You're going to be this and that. When really it's just, he's just being lied to. You know what I mean? So, it's my job to come in there and expose that truth out of him.
You ever had these type of feelings towards an opponent? Like, where does that stack up?
No, not really, because, most of my opponents, I'm really respectful to, and I think they're respectful to me. But I take, I don't know if he means it or not. I don't know. Maybe he's just a douchebag of a person. But I get the feeling, when he's talking to other people, especially other fighters, he's he feels like he's above other people, and like he's kind of a bully. You know what I mean? And then you watch his fights where he loses, where he got bullied back, and he don't like that. So that's what I got to do to him. And like I said, I just think his whole thing is all just based on lies, and a lot of people fall into that, but I ain't falling into it.
You're not easy to get a bully either.
No, I won't be bullied. I will not.